Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. So for today, we're gonna do the second part of ideas for October daily. I know you guys loved the last video and I really appreciate it. I'm thrilled that you guys love these idea videos. I know I've done it for All About Me and December daily and now October daily. And I love it. So I hope you guys are enjoying. And then for this second video, we will go through the second half of ideas. Also wanted to say that I appreciate everybody being wonderful and watching my videos. I know that it has been kind of hit and miss with videos. I've been dealing with some health stuff. So I'm hoping soon that I can get back to more of a regular posting of videos and sharing of various projects. Like my reading journal, it has just been hard to do all the projects, but I am hoping to do Tuesday video, Thursday video, and then a Sunday video. And if there is any videos that you want to see, I'd love to know in the comment section. Okay, so let's go over to my desk and go over the next set of ideas. Let's dive into some more of the ideas for October daily. We're gonna do this section here, and I love this project, and even though life is busy, it is so worth the time to document some stories in October. Now, my last video, I left off on cozy days and nights, but as I was looking through my albums again, I noticed a ton of examples that I could show you again of cozy nights, and also number 17, which is TV, movies, and shows. So it feels like those two come together, but I do have one example that's kind of separate, so I will share that in just a second. But this particular one has to do with this show that we watched. I don't even remember what it's called. Oh, Trick or Treaters. It was several years ago, but it was actually taken from a German folk tale. It was really interesting. So I just wrote about it and included 2 pictures from it. Very fun little cartoon, and I don't even know if it's on Netflix anymore, but we really enjoyed it. On the back, I have a collage of the other shows that we watched. Very simple and easy way to capture the rest of the shows that you watch. This is the page that I was talking about that has to do with cozy, much more than, cozy and TV, but my kids were into blanket forts and they loved reading in there. So I made a little page about that and then just stuck this in to kind of tie it together. And then of course, here's another one about TV shows and movies and going to a movie, not necessarily all spooky, but it was still a movie that we went to and enjoyed. And then up here at the beginning of the album, I made a TV because I wanted to be able to kind of flip the channel or change the channel. It was very difficult to make. I'm not someone that can do interactive things, but I try and I have fun, and that's the point. So I was talking about how as the kids get older, it's hard and harder to find things that they all agree on. So on this particular night, it was another interesting debate, and we wound up choosing an old Scooby-Doo show because we've loved that for years. And then we also watched an older cartoon that was about Donald Duck and a witch. So that's what we chose. And then I just attempted to make this 3-dimensional so that way you could pull it out and change the channel. I really like how that one turned out. It was fun and I did my best, and that's what matters. This is another cozy night and watching TV. One of our favorite shows is Nailed It. We love watching that. It hasn't come out with a new season in a while, and I don't think it will, but we enjoyed it while it was around, and I used a lot of pinks and purples in this spread and just did a collage here and then the title over here. And I'm going to bring this closer because on this one, I did something really fun and different. It kind of looks like slime, but I took these older alphas from Ali Edwards and then used the Nuvo drops to add on top of it and then let them dry. And then now it kind of, like I said, looks like slime. I like it. It works for an October theme. In this project right here, I got, I guess, a little fancier because I put in a shaker pocket to talk about all the different shows that we were watching. And then I talked about Supernatural, which was the show my husband and I were watching together. Over here, towards the end of the album, let me see if I can turn the pages. These binder rings sometimes get stuck. Okay, got it. So I was really into like trying mixed media, and this was something that I had made, and so I included it because the colors worked really well over here. Added in a die cut, and then also this die cut, and then there is beauty in the simplicity. And I talked about our love for Masked Singer, and I'll probably include it in this year's album as well, but definitely a favorite page to document all the things that we enjoy watching and grab a family selfie. One last one for TV shows and movies. My husband and I picked this movie to watch and we absolutely loved it. I decided to have a lot of fun with my stamps and layering them with the ghost and the spider webs and even some words, and then using a ton of flares from Jenny's shop, Scrap and Happy Studio. So much fun. Definitely a favorite page that I have made. I have just one more idea for TV, movies, and shows because it feels like an easy story to document. This project and also December Daily. So for this one, I documented Hocus Pocus 2 because it had just come out. So I decided to make my own book, and I distressed the cardstock. I stamped on the snake, and then I did like some pretend staples, and it was a lot of fun to make. And then you open it up and I have the image of the Hocus Pocus 2, and then I took a cut file and added the different hairs to whichever sister we related to based on a quiz that we found. And so my two kids were Winifred, I was Sarah, and my husband was Mary. Really cute, fun way to document watching this movie. Then over here is this page, just a collage talking about the different shows that we liked watching. And I have this little ghost scene with the remote. This is like a movie that we watched, so I just made it bigger. And on the back, I talked about a spooky show that my husband and I were watching. And yeah, so love documenting shows. These next two story ideas are actually ideas that I wish that I would do more often, and I wanted to include them even though I don't have a lot of examples. So the first one is deciding on a costume. This was one particular year where we all were just sitting around at dinner time and talking about what we wanted to be. I think my son wanted to be a robber with some orange pants. I was thinking about being a waitress from like the 50s, and then my daughter was thinking about being a Pokemon. So it was fun to kind of document that conversation and what direction we were going for our costumes. And then you can see in the back of the album, I just decided to go with a pink wig and be a witch, and we went to a Halloween party. So this is kind of a costume page because I had dressed up in my hat and I had a Halloween shirt on, and I decided to take some selfies with my son. He wasn't really into them, so he made a bunch of scary kind of faces, and I actually love how they turned out. It was fantastic. And I just put it on this drawing that my daughter had made, so you can flip it open and see it. And it was a fantastic little add to the album. Another costume page before actual Halloween was when we tried to go to a community event and my kids got dressed up. My daughter is extremely embarrassed by this particular costume. She was trying to be Captain Underpants. I thought it was ingenious of her, at the time to come up with this, but now as a preteen 11-year-old, she thinks it's very embarrassing. But she was Captain Underpants and my son was an astronaut. And that was really fun to have like pictures of the costumes before Halloween. One of my favorite things to do during fall is to collect the leaves and notice the different colors and patterns, and I just love it. So what I did is I took a photo of the leaves and then made a page all about leaf joy, and I absolutely think that everybody should do that. It's just so fun to collect the leaves and see all the beautiful colors. This was 2020, I believe, and I found like the first fall leaf, so I decided to snap a quick photo and then just add it in with a bunch of stamps. So super easy, simple, but it's still documented. And for this year, I already have my photo printed. I'm gonna put this on a 7 by 8.25, and I'll put it on this side, and then I'm gonna have a trail of like die cuts and the title all down there, so it's gonna look so good. The next idea is outdoor decorations, and you will see on all of these that it is definitely focused on my daughter because she absolutely loves decorating. It makes her so happy to decorate. So for this page, I just did 2 pocket pages and then an insert of this amazing photo of my daughter holding the signs that say "Keep Out" and "Beware." And then on the back, I have this card and then this little pocket page. Another one with my daughter. She was very excited to have her decorations out, and I did this little close-up of this spooky skeleton reaper thing and then a pocket page there. If you turn it, I have another page of my daughter like dancing in the yard because she just loves to be in her witchy place, I guess you could say. So that's what I decided to make, is dancing in her graveyard, just kind of a play on the season, and just some awesome photos of her enjoying the decorations outside. Here's another one. Again, you know, my daughter, she loves it. This particular year we got this blow up and she was thrilled. She got to pick it out herself. And then I just did a simple collage over here just to keep it easy and done. One last example, I think you guys just saw this in the 2023 walkthrough. I did a huge photo of my daughter and then a collage of photos there with the different decorations, close-ups, and then ones of my daughter. And I will have another page of my daughter decorating for this year in the album. The next idea is, of course, doing some artwork and including that in your album, whether it's your artwork or your kids' artwork. I should totally go back and add the photos of my daughter making this because they are some really priceless photos. But she did this direct draw where they like kind of direct you on how to draw, but she did it, and then I bribed her to color it in because I wanted her to pick the colors, and so that got included in the album. For this album, I just put it in a glassine bag, and then you can just pull these out. I think my kids were really into the ones where it's like, let's see, which way does it go? I think it goes this way. Nope, it goes this way. But it pops out. So it's a candy corn, then you pop it out, and it's terrifying. And I have a bunch of those. This one looks like it never got finished, or at least colored. So I have several of those, and then they just live in the glassine bag. This is a more recent one that you guys, again, just saw in my 2023 walkthrough, but my daughter was really into doing these little pictures. She never finished coloring them, but I still wanted to add them into the album. For number 23, I have going out as a family and doing different festive fall, October themed ideas. We love to go to the movies and see a movie if there is one. This year was Wild Robot, but for this album, it was the Addams Family, so I got a family photo, and this was when the kids still liked playing arcade games, so I have some photos of that, and then some other photos there, and just printed it out on matte paper, because I also included some of the digital stamping with the spiders. Another movie outing where we went to see the Addams Family 2, I made a 4x8 or little less than 4x8 insert, then you can flip it open, and I have the selfie along with one ticket and lots of digital stamping. For this album and this year, I think it was 2020, we didn't have any movies that we went to see, but we did wind up looking at a lot of different lights in our neighborhood. So I have a photo here, 4x8, you flip it, and then I just talk about what the different houses that we saw, and it carries over to the back. We found some really cool houses, especially with the giant skeletons, so I included that. Not sure if I've already shared this page, but in talking about pumpkin patches, that is definitely something that we love to do. And I wanted to talk about this selfie in particular because it felt like one of those forced family photos, but I really appreciated my people doing it. So I talked about it there and then stamped a background. A quick little story idea is talking about your family's candy favorites. And I think I actually got this idea from another scrapbooker, and I had already made some of these circles, and so I figured why not use them. And I loved her idea, so I included little pieces of the candy and then just asked my family what their favorite candies were, and it turned out wonderful. And I should do it again soon, maybe this year or next year, just to see how my people's candy preferences have changed. I don't think mine really have changed, but it'd be fun to just do this again. Another quick page about candy. I just had my kids reach into the candy bowl. I think this was after they got their Halloween candy. So I just had this page that was just sitting here. So I had them reach in and then I put in my kids' picks for candy. The next idea is going to see lights, and I know I shared this page right here that's on the back, and I talked about how this whole collection was from Jenny at Scrap and Happy Studio. So I just used that same collection to talk about this house that we enjoyed seeing and adding in all kinds of different embellishments and die cuts to it. And this one I know you guys just saw for going to see lights and seeing the skeletons. And I guess this is not a page I document that often, but it is a fun one to include when you go out to see different decorations. And I will have some more ideas when I show you Halloween in just a little bit, because I always take some photos of when we're out trick-or-treating of the different decorations that I enjoyed. Next up is talking about baking, and I don't know if I shared this one, but this was just a simple kit that we bought to make these tombstone brownies, and I included the box packaging and then a flip up of different photos. I may have already talked about this when I was talking about seasonal treats, but it is so fun to bake during the holidays. This one is a pumpkin oatmeal recipe. Now, none of my family wanted to try it, and even my friend thought it tasted a little weird, but I really loved it. And so I documented making that with lots of different Ali Edwards die cuts, and then, you know, in process and using the pumpkin pie spice, and then a close-up of the actual oatmeal pumpkin recipe. For this one, it's a little different, but my friend brought me some donuts, so I decided to include the little story right there with our photo on the front and then the back talking about the different treats. So for this one, kind of similar to treats, but also baking, I made basically, I think it was mud pie, graveyard pudding, and I included some photos in this little glassine pocket, and we had a lot of fun having the pudding and then adding in the different toppings. And I took an overhead shot of the table and the different toppings that we had. The next idea is outdoor time, or just going on walks during the month of October. This page right here, my husband and I took a neighborhood walk, so I had a lot of fun just seeing the different decorations and also the changing in leaves. So I made a super fun page with the ThCutShoppe kit and also several of the epoxy flares. This is a cut file from Ashley's shop, ThCutShoppe. Another page, or the other idea, is nature, and my husband and I went out on a walk, and there was actually something really funny, at least to us. It was so muddy, and it was actually one of those years where it was very dry, not a lot of rain. So the pond had dried up and all that was left was mud, and my husband's shoe got stuck. And I was like, it looks like a swamp, it's mud, it kind of goes with the October theme, but I don't know. I think some people might have found it weird, but I had a lot of fun putting together this whole big trail and then having the close-up of the gross swamp with my husband's shoe. So as I was putting this together, I noticed 25 and 26 repeat. I'm not sure why, but I am going to go ahead and fix the printable, and then the updated version will be in the description box. One of the ideas that I have is to do everyday stories that may not pretend to October, but you could always put an October twist on it. This one, I was talking about how my favorite snack was kettle corn, and if I didn't get to have my kettle corn, I might turn into a mommy stein. So I just thought that that was a hilarious way to talk about my favorite snack. And I used a cut file that I had bought and put it on the vellum, and then you turn it and you can see the different popcorn. And then I made the photo black and white just to make it easier. Another kind of everyday story, I mean, it is a special story and it could fit in a lot of different categories, but it would be this going back in time with my daughter. We got to dress up as pioneers in 1848, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day together. Another everyday type of story that you could talk about is 10 on 10, taking 10 photos on the 10th, or just doing 10 stories. For this one, I did 10 stories, and I made this fancy little insert, October 10 little stories. 10 little stories, and then you can flip up these pumpkins. I did make it kind of tight in order to see the photos. I would reconfigure it if I did it again, but you flip it and then turn it, and then you can see all the different stories from that, from the month. Here's another one about 10 everyday stories. This one took a lot of time and love in it, and it turned out amazing. One of my favorite projects that I've done for October. So I used some Studio Calico numbers or vellum acetate pieces, and then did flip ups for every single one of them because I wanted to make sure that it was cohesive. So some flip down, some flip up, some flip up there, and it carries all the way over to here, and that's why I had this piece here. That way I could do beautiful messes all over. This was an actual 10 on 10 where I took 10 photos and I documented the 10th, kept it very simple with just a grid and then stamping here and here, called it done. One other idea I have is to do Happy Mail. I didn't find a lot of ideas in this, in my current albums, but I am documenting my Stella. If you watched my first process video, I shared my October selfie with Stella, and I'm gonna do another page with Stella in my October album for this year, but it was so special to get this sent to me by my dear friend, Erica. So you can definitely document the packages that you receive and then do little flip ups. And I think this was an actual tag that she included in the package. So the last idea, of course, is Halloween, getting all the group photos. Someone I think got a close-up of my daughter, and so I put that in a 4x6. School activities, more school, parade, and then of course all the photos at Halloween with grandma. And then you turn it, and some more pictures, a little shaker pocket. Just did highlights of the holiday, and then of course coming home at the end of the night with the candy. So for this album, I think it was supposed to be a full moon, and I had a scrapbooking friend, and goodness, I wish I could remember her name. I don't remember who it was. I thought I labeled it somewhere, but maybe I didn't. But I took this Adore This Season digital stamp, added in some pumpkins, and then did journaling right on top of this card, I believe. added in the piece with vellum polka dot, and then you turn it and you've got the full moon photo that I was sent. And I put it on little tabs, and on the back, I think that's where it starts the photos. So I did my kids in the yard, and then me, and I believe this is 2020 because we were going around our neighborhood. And then on the back is again more candy, and then a cluster of embellishments right there. This page I already showed you with the selfies with my son, but you turn it and that's where Halloween starts. And my son decided to wear my pink wig, so I was totally okay with that and went with pink in my stamping and made a simple grid of some favorite photos. And then my husband took our daughter trick-or-treating, so I only got one photo, but it's a great photo of my sweet little girl and an acrylic piece down there. See, and there's my teen. He's hilarious. So that is Halloween, and that's where I usually stop my album. I don't put an end page, I just stop it at Halloween. Here's another year of Halloween. I think I shared this one because we were talking about school ideas, but this starts Halloween. There was some really amazing decorations out in my neighborhood, and so I got a picture and decided to add vellum on top of it to kind of make some clusters and make almost an introduction page for Halloween. And then another page with kind of the pocket format. This one you flip it out, turn it, and then we go kind of into the evening when I was with the teenagers. I have lots of photos of the different decorations that we saw, and then some larger photos of the other decorations, more photos of the teenagers, and then that's it. We were collecting Pokemon cards, so I just stuck that in there. I could have done a more elaborate story of it, but decided I didn't have to and I didn't want to. One last Halloween page from last year. I dressed up at work with my coworkers as a pirate, and I got a selfie of us, and then you turn it, and I just made kind of a title card. This was a vellum piece I made many years ago and finally decided to just add it in there. My daughter was a Dementor from Harry Potter, and she looked definitely perfectly wicked. So I have a big photo of her. You turn it and we've got photos of, mostly the evening, but I had one from the kids going to school. I don't think either one of them wanted to dress up, which was totally fine. And then I have some Scrap and Happy Studio flares, and turn it, and that's it. So that is all of my ideas in my various albums. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all these ideas and got a lot of inspiration from these various ideas, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye.